What do some of the best literature, best video games, and best movies have in common? World building. From the oppressive world of Hunger Games to the spooky world of Lovecraft, what makes these stories intriguing is the world it's set in, and I want to create one. However, I have little to no experience with world building, but this is how far I got in a week. I have to start this by saying that I had one idea going into this. It wasn't a genre, it wasn't a big bad character or world-ending event, it was masks. I wanted masks to be a central part of this world. And when I add something to this world, I will, to the best of my abilities, also talk about what inspired it. I needed a reason for the inhabitants of the world wearing masks. And I toyed with a few ideas like a weird moon or maybe a religious reason. But then I remembered seeing a picture of Indian honey collectors wearing masks on the back of their head to scare off tigers. I thought that, okay, maybe they should wear masks because of a predator. This got the creative juice flowing a bit. I also need you to know my philosophy going into this. I thought of what Chris Hunt, the creator of Kenshi, once said in an interview. He said that he does not enjoy stories with a chosen one. He does not enjoy hand-holding, and the struggle of what a character goes through is what makes a good story. And I agree. This influenced the world in multiple ways. I decided that I wanted to create a more primitive world. There were no nations, only towns, cities, or small settlements. That being said, the people of the world should by no means be stupid or simple. They should have access to metal, writing, farming, and such. However, there would be no magic. I have seen magic systems, and I refuse to create one. They are way too elaborate, and for the people who actually manage to create one, you're insane. However, being a huge fan of horror, supernatural elements would be present. But back to the masks and the predator. I took inspiration from three wildly different sources. Number one was the BT in Death Stranding. Number two was the big fin squid. And number three was the scout in GTFO. This led to the creation of the Igua. I wanted something to feel otherworldly and nasty, so naturally I went to the ocean. I cannot stress enough how uncomfortable these things make me. These squid can grow up to 6 meters. It's disgusting. What is an Igua? An Igua is a squid-like creature floating completely still in the air, scouting for humans using its tendrils. Looking at it, it just looks like dust in the air in the shape of a squid. And it uses its tendrils to feel for human facial features. But the human cannot feel their touch. If it feels the facial features of a human, it manifests and shoves its tendrils into the human by their eyes, mouth, ears, and brings its victim up to its body to feast. These are common throughout the entire world, and they force people to cover their faces. I wanted the threat of taking off the mask to be ever present. You cannot escape from these, you can only adapt around them, which people have done. I also wanted the threat to be brutal, scary. It's supposed to be very invasive and nasty. I toyed with the backstory, but I wasn't sure if there actually should be one. Maybe the threat of the unknown would be more interesting. If I had to compare it to any other creature, it would actually be a very stereotypical zombie, in a way that it's not really a huge threat unless the circumstances allows it to. The Igua got its name from me just smashing random keys until I got something that I liked. And while we're talking about the creatures of this world, we might as well go through them all. I created 3 creatures: the Igua, the Grobos, and the Harpa. We have already gone through the Igua, so let's talk about the Grobos. The Grobos got its name from combining the French word for big and the Dutch word for ox. But its design is based on the American bison and the sable antelope, as well as the mammoth. It's around 5 meters tall, not counting the horns. It's a quadruped with thick fur, especially around the head. It has long ringed horns used for defense, protruding from the sides of its skull. It's a herd animal and a herbivore. It's a very docile animal unless it's agitated or threatened, and due to its massive size, it's hunted for meat and pelt. It is very rare during a hunt to kill more than one due to its massive size, and hunts are usually meticulously planned in order to kill the beast, therefore the mammoth association. The meat is very easily cooked, and due to its thick fur, the pelt is used for a variety of things like blankets, cloths, or even entire tents. And you can find them around grasslands. What initially sparked this idea was something called tall tale postcards. This was a type of postcard popular during the early 20th century in America, which depicted huge animals. And lastly, moving on to the harpa. I wanted an animal that humans could use to pull wagons, so I made a harpa. I don't know why I decided to name it harpa, it just kinda happened. Either way, the harpa is based on Fallout's Brahmin, Kenshi's Garu, and beetles. Harpas are around 2 meters tall, have 6 legs, and are extremely muscular. They have a rough coat, small eyes, but a very thick skull. They are extremely dumb, to the point of being completely reliant on humans for survival. It's a herbivore, but will not move without the proper motivation. And the proper motivation is food. So a harpa will not move to get food unless it is right in front of them. So think of like Minecraft, pigs with a carrot. Due to the harpa's low intelligence, it was very easy to domesticate. Its incredible strength has made it perfect for carrying heavy resources for long stretches. However, harpas are not known for their speed, so while they are constantly moving forward through any terrain, any weather, and any time of day, it is at times excruciatingly slow, and those were the creatures. Now let's talk plants and then humans and culture. Cabo. I have no idea where this name came from, it just kind of happened. Cabo is a tree that can be found in Cabo forests, usually located in temperate climates. They are huge, thick trees, usually around 115 meters, however taller ones have occurred. A special quality of the Cabo is its rapid growth. It grows around 4 meters a day. These trees are actually based on Hyperion trees, the world's largest trees, and the rapid growth is based on bamboo. Now let's get into the different societies. I created 3 groups. The quality and the depth of these groups vary a lot. It's like comparing a puddle to a lake. I also want to say that I currently only have placeholder names for these groups. So let's start out with the least fleshed out group, the nomadic group. They have a nomadic lifestyle and culture. They are always on the move, and they see masks as nothing but tools, so they swap them out fairly quickly. Because they're always on the move and their access to different materials always changes, they make masks of whatever is around them. This can be twigs, and sticks, or shells and seaweed. Clothes are usually also made from whatever is available. That's it. That's all I got for these guys. Next up, we have one of the camouflaged communities. Camouflage community is an umbrella term. I thought camouflage communities could be communities that have incorporated their surroundings around them completely into their culture. And currently, there's one that has a bit more going on, that being the Woodsman. The Woodsman is a small camouflage community that has situated themselves in the closest Cabo forest near the flat field. I'll talk about the flat field later. They have one goal: survival. Woodsmen are excellent woodworkers and carve out Cabo trees to make housing. The housing that has been carved out of the trees is extremely finely detailed, and the Woodsmen believe that a home should be comfortable and a relaxing place. Therefore, anything sharp is left outside, and the inside of the home lacks any sharp edges. Instead, the entire home is filled with smooth curves. This idea came from the Kailasha temple, I hope I'm saying that right, a temple in India that was built during the 8th century out of a single rock. And it is really, really cool. Their masks are intricately carved. Each and every mask is different as it is made by the person who wears it. They get to decorate it however they want. This has led to many masks telling stories or resembling animals or plants. Woodsmen, however, have no knowledge of how to forge metal. This makes tools such as axes, nails, knives, and saws very valuable to them, and they often get passed down through generations. So how do they get metal tools? Through trade. Woodsmen are semi-well known around the world for their craftsmanship and delicate wood carvings. This makes any of their creations quite valuable. But their biggest trade is lumber. Due to the cable tree's rapid growth, they cut it down and load it onto wagons pulled by harpas. And their biggest trade partners is the next society we're going to talk about, the scientific group. Placeholder. The scientific group is the biggest society in this world. They believe they are supposed to develop a way of fighting the Igua. Now, why is that? I don't know. They are willing to do anything because they do it for their version of the greater good. And the drive for scientific advancement has caused them to abduct random people off the street in their own city and experiment on them. Due to this being a very primitive world, experimentations include body modifications such as cutting, altering facial features, adding animalistic ones, forceful injections of plants and animal parts, and diets. And because of this, they have actually made a few scientific discoveries, such as multiple edible plants and animals, and currently there is no body mutilation that can trick the Igua, and plant-based medicine. Also, effects of different animal substances on the body. This is a class-based society, and an extremely oppressive one. I based it on feudalism, which was especially prevalent during the Middle Ages in Europe. So at the top, anyone belonging to the governmental group. This includes any type of guard. Their masks consist of metal, something worth more and requires more care when creating, showing their privilege. I based the masks on the old dental training dolls. On the second tier, there are scientists. Placeholder. It is kind of a priest-scientist mix. They wear masks that resemble the head of the Igua as it intimidates people. These masks are based on the Igua, but the original idea came from the game Pathological. Third, we have merchants. Merchants' masks depend on what they sell. A merchant mask might be made of different material and be different colors to indicate that they have a wide variety of stock. These merchants' masks are based on Magi's, and at the bottom of the barrel there's the common folk, or the farmers. Farmers take whatever they can to make their masks, usually stitched together from rags. And I based this on Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2. Let's move on to their city. Their city is located in the flat field, which, as it sounds, is a big flat field, which I based on Denmark because it's a very flat country. This allows them to farm very well and keep cattle, as well as a constant expansion of their city, but it gives them very limited access to resources like trees and metal. This is why they have a trade established with the woodsmen. Their relationship is purely business, as woodsmen see the scientific group as a bunch of corrupt weirdos, and the scientific group sees them as primitive and dumb. They also have a mine established that keeps a constant flow of metal to the city. These transports are usually very heavily guarded. To show off their wealth and intimidate anyone who might see the transport, the harpas they use have been given specially made armor, and like the scientist, the head of the armor is supposed to resemble the Igua's head. The mine is worked by city folk of lower class, and being sent to the mine is actually seen as one of the more merciful punishments you can get. But what does the city look like? It's a circular city where the main building, the temple, is at the center. I based this idea off of Frostpunk. I wanted something that was in some ways a beacon of hope, but at the same time a symbol of oppression. This is the reason why you're alive, and this is the reason why you should live, but this is also the reason you're going to die. The city keeps expanding further and further out due to the government only caring about progress and themselves. Buildings are usually scraped together with whatever material that was available. This has led to a wide variety of architectural looks and structural integrity. The walls of the city are made of lumber and are constantly being replaced and or moved to expand the city's border. And I personally think that's pretty cool. Due to the obsession with control over its citizens, an extreme border control has been established. You need a permit to exit and enter the city. Merchants get permits quite easily, while those of lower class have an extremely low chance of getting a permit. It's basically impossible. For people outside of the city walls, permits can only be gained if a highly respected merchant have vouched for them, and they have a representative within the walls. The population lives in fear because they think they don't stand a chance without the government, but they are still terrified by the risk of becoming a victim to the scientists or being sent to the mines. They are oppressed, but this is their home. Those attempting to flee the city and get caught are punished, either by execution or by becoming a test subject or being sent to the mine. And this is what I have created so far. I spent around 7 hours minus the time I spent in bed, and I honestly loved it. It's fun. There are no rules. My world can work however I want, and that is so charming. I encourage anyone to actually do this. Give this a try. I believe that this is a great creative exercise and gives you a basis of what you can write stories to. However, there are things I would like to add. I would like to add things like more cultures and flesh out the ones that I've already established. Hell, maybe I'll even give them names. I want to add more creatures and add more locations to explore. I would also like to add some local legends, and of course I would like to add history. However, when I thought about the history of this world, I remembered a quote by George Orwell in 1984, "Who controls the past controls the future, and who controls the future... No. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past." So I would like there to be multiple histories from different cultural perspectives. However, they might overlap at certain points. And I think that would be very interesting. Thank you for listening to my rambling. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, leave a comment on what I should add to the world. It could be fun to add like a little wall of fame of names and what they have contributed at the end of each video if I turn this into a series. I absolutely love all sorts of media, and I love to talk about it, and I'll make more videos talking about it. See ya!